We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. Elder law attorney Tim Takacs is with us.
Go to your special place.
Yeah, you know, sometimes,
which is right here.
Look, I'm totally, completely
really,
comfortable with you on air, but sometimes when people are, before you go on air, you go to your special place, take a deep breath. Like before I have to anchor 4 straight hours by myself sometimes on the other side. Just to focus.
Okay.
Get my game together.
Right.
Are you focused?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's focus on Milton's question.
Yes.
Milton, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Hey, there's a senior citizen that I know who lives in Hendersonville, does not have a lot of money, and the other day she approached me about wanting to find an attorney that was reasonable so she can get her estates in place. I didn't know of one, but I know of Tim. How would she go about, like I say, they do not have a lot of money, but she wants to get an attorney, and she initiated the conversation, which I was surprised at, but I didn't know who to recommend her to. How can you help me with that? Or
okay, Milton, what you want to do is that I know the contact information will come up regularly.
We'll put your phone number up at the end of the show.
Is have her call the office, 824-2571, and tell her that she'll say, well, I saw Tim on TV, or Milton told me to call you, or whatever, and she will, tell whoever that she talks to, and they'll do what we call an intake. Is basically, kind of like when you call the doctor and you say, I've got whatever it is, and then they'll say, tell me a little bit more, and then we will figure out whether she's in the right place. In our office, what we do is that we tell people, when if they just need estate planning, we will tell people typically what that, what it costs for them, depending upon what their circumstances are.
You see all types of clients. You probably see your millionaire clients, and you see clients that have means, but they're modest, and you can help all of them.
That's right. And
it's not like you're not too expensive for everyone.
Right. We're not too expensive. Now, we always tell people is that if we don't feel like that, if you don't feel like you're a good fit for us, let's say we call, and then we'll tell you somebody that we feel like you can go to.
That is awesome. Milton, listen, you're watching the program this morning. It's perfect timing with your friend asking. We'll put the number up at the end of the program, so stick around where you call Tim's office. It doesn't cost anything for them to call your office.
Absolutely not.
And then you guys are doing the triage where you're asking the questions.
Because one of the things that's what we feel that's really important is that anybody that picks up the phone and calls our office, sometimes that's a difficult call to make.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that they feel like even if we can't help them, that they call the right place.
Right. And you can trust. We've been dealing with Tim and I know each other 17 years, or plus, and so there are many good lawyers out there. There's some unscrupulous ones, but Tim is a good lawyer. One way or the other, he'll be able to help you. If not himself, then maybe even if it doesn't have a perfect match, refer him to some other folks that can maybe
we have
help
people that call us and they wind up telling us that about my mom lives in Ohio, and we'll say, well, we know somebody in Ohio. We'll tell you, we'll get out our booklet and say, call this person.
He's helped me with that very thing with my folks in Boise. He knows people all around the country. So Milton, stick around. We'll get that number up. Have her make that call, and hopefully, good for her thinking that way.
That's right.
Okay, and don't think that, well, I need to get it into affairs, but I'm not wealthy. I can't figure this out. I can't afford it. There are ways you can do it without paying an arm and a leg, depending on what it is you choose to do.
Right.
Let's go next to Joe. Hi, Joe.
Good morning, Nick.
Morning, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Tim, got a brief scenario and then a question. To me, this was kind of a local scam. This lady had been in an accident, got quite a bit of a settlement, where she was in a wheelchair, but her mind was still very sharp. Some way or another, they got before a judge and got her declared incompetent. He that was going to take care of her affairs, and this attorney had charged her like $300 or $400 to go to the grocery store for this lady. And it was outrageous what was going on between this attorney just handling her affairs. That scenario was, to me, a local scam.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no question. Or not a scam. It's just flat out illegal and unscrupulous. I mean, we've seen. That's what you always say. The very last resort is a conservatorship.
Right.
And then you have to be very, very careful who you put in charge of things, because there's no one to check them from taking advantage of the client.
Right, because what happens is, and I know that, you know, here in Davidson County, Judge Kennedy is very mindful of the problems that conservators have.
And he's brought the hammer down on some conservators, though, that have screwed up, and there are some that have.
The problem is that there are hundreds and hundreds of out there, you know, and sometimes the money is gone before, I mean...
Yeah, even if you nail them later, what good does that do the woman who lost the money?
Exactly, right, and so that's, you know, part of that is, you know, try to... You know, it's always about, can you find somebody trustworthy? You know, whether it's a family member or a close friend or whatever. And I mean, as you said, though, is conservatorship is a last resort.
Because just so we're clear for folks, they understand what that means. The judge rules someone's incompetent and gives control of their entire affairs, financial especially, to someone else.
Right, and that's now what's supposed to happen is that the court and the judge is supposed to fashion a conservatorship that's least restrictive, is what it's called.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know whether in some courts that really is what happens. I know Judge Kennedy is very, you know, he very much tries to he looks at it as being in the last resort.
Yes, right. Which it should be.
And he should be.
So, and it should be the last resort for you if you're the loved one looking at that. That's the last thing I want to do, my folks.
Right, exactly.
The last thing. Oh, we just lost Glenda. She hung up, but she can call back and we'll take her. But let's go to Gwen. Gwen, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi,
Thanks
Gwen.
for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a question. My dad my dad died and left my mom some money, and she went to her bank and put it in some kind of annuity for stock market or whatever. And my dad had this trust set up, a revocable trust, and when these people, they come around once a year to check out her funds. And I want to know if the people that come with them that want her to switch from one thing to another, if that's for her benefit or if it's for theirs, or if it's some kind of scam when they bring somebody along with them, along with the person that checks the trust each year. Is that normal?
Okay, I know you're not an investment expert, but yeah, if you have a trust, so you're saying people, they look at the trust, they evaluate it, and then they approach her with, hey, you know what, your money might do better if you move it to this fund or that fund?
Yes, and they come by once a year, and, you know, I understand that they want to check it out, but then I also wonder if they're looking at her finances and where they can put it, you know, benefit themselves. I'm just not sure about that.
And they would benefit maybe through fees or something.
What do you think? That's a hard one, because I mean, a good investment advisor, a good person that you've hired, whatever company it is, you know, they should be looking out after, are you in the right place?
Right.
Do you have the right investments? You know, are you too risky? You know, are you too conservative? You've got all your money in a checking account or whatever, you're actually losing money. I don't know that, and I don't know that an annual review is, I mean, that sounds to me like that's appropriate. Yeah,
it does too. That's basically what I do. I don't have any huge investments, but I have someone who reviews it annually and will make suggestions to me about how things changed for you, how you doing, this is where we go, and they kind of just let it roll. So
the important thing is
once a year.
The important thing here is the quality of the relationship.
Yeah.
You know, that her mother has with this investment advisor.
Problem is, she only sees him once a year. She probably doesn't even know the guy's name, is what I'm guessing. I mean, am I right about that?
They change from once a year also, every once in a while.
Yeah, they change.
So Gwen, do you...
First time, but then when he realized that my mom was in some type of a stock market annuity thing, he said that's not very good, that's too hard for a person who's 78, and that they needed to change it over to some product that they had that, you know, would benefit her better. I think it's a fixed annuity or something. So, you know, I was just concerned because, you know, she's 78 and she believes everything anybody tells her. So
I just wonder, Gwen, do you help your mom with that, or does she want your help, or?
She does. She wants my help. I sit in there with her and listen to it, and then listen to what she wants to do, and then I do a little research, and that's what I was trying to do this morning, because they're kind of they came by the other day, and I was just trying to help her make her decision. And, you know, I worry about people trying to just, you know, they come and look at it, and they say, oh, I have a guy that needs to talk to you with a better deal, and, you know, you get a little concerned. But
see, I'm not, of course, I think as Nick said, is, you know, I'm not an investment advisor, I'm not a financial planner.
Right.
You know, I've worked with enough of them, and part of what the investment planner advisor is going to do is to ask you, you know, what your goals are.
Right.
You know, so, you know, has that conversation took place between, you know, Gwen's mother, you know, and the financial planner? You know, those goals change over time. You know, as obviously she became a widow. Is she concerned about financial security? What other money is out there that she has? You know, does she have enough money to live on, or more than enough money to live on? So she's not really, you know, so maybe she's thinking about investing for children or grandchildren.
Right.
All of those are a part of a financial plan.
Yep.
You know, which I believe that a good investment advisor, those are the kind of things that they ask you about. You know, it's kind of like walking into a doctor's office, you know, and the doctor, you know, one of the first things the doctor does is that they want to take a history.
Yeah.
You know, that's the same thing here.
That makes sense.
They want to take a history. They want to figure out, you know, okay, tell me about your symptoms, blah, 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 you know, and all that. And then only at that point then do they come up with some solutions. I mean, we do the same thing in our office.
So Gwen, I think,
I think she's on the right track.
I think you're on the right track, and that you're involved with it smart. You know, you can pay attention to it and see how the fund looks, but once a year or something like that seems reasonable. They may move it to a fund that's one more that they manage, that they're more familiar with. That's just what investment counselors do. But of course, it should always be with regard to what's best for their client, though they may make some fees, or it may be in a fund that they help manage. And that happens, I suppose.
Right, and that's all should be disclosed up front.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
I appreciate it.
That is a good question.
It is.
Those financial things, heck, I got to tell you, Tim, I have a financial counselor that I deal with that I don't understand half the stuff that comes out of his mouth. And people are saying, Nick, it's your money. Are you crazy? Well, I trust him. I understand some basics. I monitor what happens to a degree.
Right. And how long have you worked with this person?
Oh, probably 8, 9 years now. But I mean, if he was Bernie Madoff, I'm not sure I'd know. But he's not giving me returns like Bernie did.
Sure, but I mean, but it sounds to me like he hasn't promised you more than what he's been able to deliver.
No, and as I've followed over the years.
Right, exactly. You know, and he's stayed in touch with you regularly. You know, like I said, it's really the quality of the relationship that's important. You know, does this person have the credentials? Is he working by himself or herself? Is he a part of a company? You know, reputable company? Is there? You know, Gwen mentioned the bank. We didn't know what bank it was, but I mean, we know that. I mean, that's at least a starting point. Because the purpose, you know, there is a bank, but there's also an investment arm typically of a bank.
What I liked about that, and anything else, and we've talked about this before, anyone that comes to you, whether it's an investment or some kind of caller asking for something that offers you some kind of huge return, prize, big money for nothing really, and it's baloney. It's crap. Nothing in society today is easy. You get nothing for free, okay? You just don't, and they're not going to pay. If they're offering you huge returns for little risk, it is a scam.
It is.
End of story. It's just those things do not exist in life anymore, folks, and I don't know that they ever did.
They didn't.
Take a break on that note. We've got the lines open, 737-7587. We only get Tim for a couple segments this time. We're going to miss you because we're up to the 9 o'clock hour. We'll take a break. If you want to join us, calls, we'll take them right after this.